Hello and thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. This is Hafiz. Today we are going to discuss web apps. This is the part 1 of the two videos on the web apps that will cover web apps and the demonstration of the web apps and different features. The agenda for today's video will be Azure Web Apps overview. Then I will be showing the demo for deploying the web app to host the website. Then we will see how to configure the custom domain and add SSL to the website to make it secure. Then in the last, we will see backup and disaster recovery scenarios for web app. So first we need to understand what is the Azure Web Apps. Azure Web App is a fully managed platform as a service solution from Microsoft that provides the capability of hosting the websites. It is an HTTP-based service for hosting web applications, REST APIs, and mobile backends applications. It also provides a feature such as security, load balancing, auto scaling, and automatic management. As I said, it's a platform as a service solution, so it also automatically patches and maintains the OS and language frameworks for you. Azure Web Apps has a great first-class support for the different frameworks such as ASP.NET, ASP.NET Core, Java, Node, PHP, Python, and so on. You can also run the PowerShell and other scripts or executables as background services with the websites as web jobs. Azure Web Apps applications run and scale with ease on both Windows and Linux-based environments. You can also integrate the authentication with the app services, such as you can use the built-in authentication component. You can use Azure Managed Identities, either System Managed Identity or User Managed Identity. You can also use the authentication from Microsoft Intra ID, and then you can also use the authentication from Google, Facebook, Twitter, and Microsoft account, that is Outlook or Live.com. Azure App Services support the dedicated tools in Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code that streamline the work of creating, deploying, and debugging the application and the websites. App Services provides the DevOps capability as well, such as CI/CD, continuous integration, and continuous deployment and development from Azure DevOps, GitHubs, Docker Hub, and other sources, package management, staging environment using deployment slots. You can create multiple slots of an app service separately as an isolated application for your development and testing work as a staging environment. Azure App Services also support the uh, Dockers. You can Dockerize your app and host a custom Windows and Linux container in App Service. You can run multi-container apps with Docker Compose as well. Azure App Services provide great support from the Azure Marketplace from the different integrators from the market. You can also choose the application from the extensive list available on the Azure Marketplace, such as WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, and so on. You pay for Azure Compute Resource you use, and that is determined by the app service plan. So basically, when we create the app service, we have to create first app service plan, then we create a web app on top of that. This is the simple diagram of a app service plan with the app service web app hosted. You can see we have one resource group. In that resource group, we have one app service plan with the one web app that is as a front end, and in the back end we can see Azure SQL database hosted inside the resource group. So app service can be connected to a database for hosting the storing the data for the transactional data entries and so on. And you can see from the internet the user will browse the website and it will connect to the web app using the DNS. So in this diagram you can see Azure DNS is shown, but you can any customer can use its own um, DNS provider such as GoDaddy, Ionis, Cloudflare, and so on. You can see in the diagram Azure Web App or App Service can also be integrated to the Azure directory for the authentication. This is a more advanced diagram. You can see multiple services attached to it. So previously, as I mentioned, that app service has called deployment slots. So basically, by default, when we create the app service web app, the first one will be production by default. Then you can go there inside the web app and you can go to the deployment slots and can add multiple slots. What you can do, you can clone the production slot and create multiple slots for the staging or development purpose. So when you after the development for the new features or you testing for the new features, then you can um, make that slot as a production slot by swapping option. So we will see in the demo how we can do that. And you can also see the you can use Azure Key Vault for the certificate storing the SSL certificate, and that can be used in the web apps as well. Now we are going to see a demo of web apps deployment. So as you can see in the diagram, we are going to deploy one app service plan, then we are going to deploy one web app. So this will be a simple website with some piece of code, and we are not going to do the Azure SQL database installation and integration with the web app or storage blob configuration, because that is not part of this video scope. And then we will see how we can add our custom domain with the web app and how we can use the our own SSL certificate to make it secure. So I'm going to the Azure portal. So as you can see in our resource group, I'm going to create one web app. Let's create the web app. So I'm going to do the web app name. Let's say my game web. Okay. So you can see is previously in the slides I mentioned that you can host web app with code as a Docker container or simple static web app. So for this now demo, I'm going to use the code. Then you can see the different runtime stacks as I mentioned in the slides in the intro overview, that you can have like different kinds of frameworks to host your website. I'm going to select .NET 7 for this, and then you can see operating system support. You can have Windows and you can have Linux. So I'm going to select the Windows for now. Then so I select the region. Then you can see the service plan. So basically we have to select the app service plan because we don't have at the moment any existing. Okay, and then we are okay going to select as a standard. So basically uh, it has different SKUs or different flavors available. So you can also select free or for the development and testing work, and also shared. So basically, shared is basically you will have web apps running on the shared host that can be shared by some other Azure customers as well. Then you have basic, standard, premium. So every plan has a different price. So in the description of the video, I'll be posting the link for the web apps pricing plan. So basically for this video, I'm going to select the standard S1. Then it's showing the zone redundancy. So for now, I don't care about it because this is just a demo. So database, I'm not going to create a database. Okay, deployment. So basically, if, as I mentioned in the introduction slide, that you can integrate GitHub, like how you are going to integrate CI/CD with your web app for continuous deployment. So you can just say what is there. So you can, if you want to integrate, you can just click on enable, then authorize with your GitHub account, then select your repository and so on. So for now, until I don't authorize, it will not show me anything. So for now, I don't want to do it. I will keep on disable because as I mentioned, it will be a simple piece of code that I want to run on my web app. Then networking. So you can see how your web app will be accessible. So you can by default it will be on, means this web app will be having one public IP for the external users access. So you people around the world can view or access your website using that publicly. Let's say if you want to make it more secure, what you can do, you can disable the public access, and then what you have to do, you have to integrate with it some application gateway or the some service such as Cloudflare, and then you allow that application gateway IP or the Cloudflare IP to uh, make it publicly accessible. So for now, I will keep it public access on. Network injection, we'll see what is this. So basically, if you want to if you want your web app to communicate with your internal resources such as database, key vault, through private IPs or internally, then you have to use this option as a network injection option. It's okay. Then you can basically use the network integration. So we have to select this one, then um, enable the VNet integration, outbound access. Then you can integrate with the subnet. So basically, what it does, if we don't use it, it will communicate with our other Azure resources publicly through the internet. But if we use this, it will communicate locally using that VNet integration and using that subnet. So basically, what it will do, it will create a private endpoint link for this web app and to use it internally for the communication within the other resources inside that VNet or VNets. Okay, so for now, I will keep it off. I don't want to do it. This is not part of this video scope. And then application insights. So we'll see in application Azure Monitor application insights is a application performance management service that is it enables automatically monitor your application. Basically, what it does, it is performs the health performance monitoring, and it checks for the uh, diagnostic with your application, checks for the performance anomalies and other issues. Plus also it includes the powerful analytics tools to help us the diagnose the issues and understand like what are the users coming from, similar to Google Analytics. So these kind of statistics it provides, like source IP and region for the users visiting the website, and then you can also plan accordingly for the future growth for your application. Let's say if you have like more users coming from certain region, let's say Australia continent, but you have your application is hosted in the Americas region or the US East US region in this case. So, but you understand that your user space is coming from the Australia continent. So, what you need to do, you need to uh, host this application to the closest to the Australia region, so users can have like low laten low latency and better application performance. So I'm going to do it, and it is basically going to create a instance called application insights in the same region. Then tag no. So we'll review the configuration. We are going to create a web app with standard SKU. In the name is my game web. We are going to upload the code. .NET 7 runtime stack. We are going to create a new app service plan on Windows. Then application sites enabled. Yes, create. So I'm going to pause the video until web application is deployed. Deployment of the web app is completed. We need to go to the resource and see the what we have. So in the overview, you can see the web app is created in the resource group, My Cloud Lab. Region is East US, and you can see the application service plan, and you can see the default website URL, or the default domain is this one. So if I click on browse, we have this web app is loading. Default website application website page is loaded. So if I go to the this one, so basically we can see what are the activity logs in the this one. Then we can see what are the options it has. Web app is .NET 7. Then currently it is default domain mygameweb.azurewebsites.net. So every web app that is created will have a domain suffix as a azurewebsites.net. Then we can add a custom domain that we will add later on. You can see the app service plan details. So we can see quickly what are the monitoring capabilities. Currently we don't have any uh, details for the monitoring because we just installed the application insights. Then what you can see the capabilities here. Okay, so as I mentioned, you can create a deployment slot for this web app. You can, what you can do, you can create a additional slot, name it as a dev or a staging, and you can clone the app from the web app. So basically you will have a clone of the application, and but it will be in isolated environment. So whatever the development work you want to do, or you want to do some testing, you can do in that separate slot. So once everything is finalized, so you can just simply go ahead and then swipe the slot with the production one. So this staging slot, once you do the swap, staging slot becomes the last used good slot for your application, as in this diagram. Okay, so you just simply go here and then click on swap. Once you verified everything, and then you just click go here and click on swap. So that will be last active slot for your application. Then what other options you have? If you go to the configuration, you can see these are the default components installed. This is for the application insights. Then in general settings, you can see platform. You can change by default. It will create in 32-bit. You can change it to 64. I'm going to do it. Click on save. Then FTP. So basically, it includes the FTP, secure FTP access. So we will use that to upload our code to this web app. Then redirection for this all HTTP traffic redirection to the HTTPS, we can, by default it is enabled, so we will keep it as it is. Then you can also enable the remote debugging for this web app. So application insights, you can see you can enable with the advanced analytics features from the application insights for the different. So we have to do some customization with the code, but that is not a part of this scope, video scope. Okay, and in this identity, let's say for the uh, if you want to use the identity, either a system assigned identity or user assigned manage identity, you can just go ahead and add manage identity from this option. So basically what you need to do, you need to just go ahead and add your user assigned manage identity from this option. And then network, you can see currently it has public IP assigned to this. This is the public IP of your web app. So currently, as I said, this is directly accessible from the internet. We don't have any other front end endpoint that is, let's say, such as front door or application gateway. So you can see the details is empty. You can also scale up or scale out the application. So scale up is the vertical scaling, and then the scale out is the horizontal scaling. So basically, let's say you will upgrade the plan from standard to the premium for the web app vertically and horizontally. If you want to upgrade, you can do the change the current plan into the other one. So basically, you just scale out. Scale out means you are doing the horizontal scaling to the other host. Then, as I mentioned, you can use the code or PowerShell scripts in the web jobs. You can just go ahead and click here and browse for the piece of code or files such as batch files, PowerShell scripts, Python files, or any executable. You can edit from here. About this one, then you can also do the clone the app. Okay, so let's say in advanced tools, currently how we can see, okay, what is the data currently stored in the website. So we can click on the option under advanced tools, then it will open a new window. Then we can go to the debug console and either CMD or PowerShell, doesn't matter. So we go to the CMD, then basically what it will show us, it will show us the um, local structure of the web server. So inside site, we have triple W root, then we have hosting start.html. So what we do basically when we do the browse this page, so this page is coming from here, this one, hosting start.html. Okay, and so we are going to upload our code here. Okay, and then we will see. So basically we will upload our code inside the triple W root. So over here, so what we need to do, we need to go to the deployment center and go get the FTP credentials. So from the deployment centers, we can get our credentials for FTP upload, because we are not using the Git or Azure DevOps to bring in our code to the website. So we are doing the FTP upload. We have to enter the URL first, then we do the username, and then we do the FTP password, connect. Okay, we'll select the certificate and chain. Okay, okay. So you can see the web structure is loaded. So this is basically triple W root, the same directory which I was showing you here. It's loaded. So we are going to upload the piece of code here using this FTP client. So I'm using this FileZilla. So we are basically going to push this code from our local repository to the triple W root folder. Okay, so I uploaded the 3 files to the web application. Let me go ahead and see. You see the 3 additional files are created. So what we are going to do, we are going to test that this is working fine. What you need to do, you need to click on browse again and see our website is working. Okay, so our piece of code is working fine, and it is showing us it is working on the default domain with Azure Websites.net, and it's a secure because for that purpose we have to add a custom domain with our company FQDN. Let's say company abc.com. So uh, we have to create a name, cname record, and point to this IP, or a record and point to this IP in our DNS, and create a custom domain which will be mygameweb.abc.com. So that I will cover in the second part of this video. Thank you for watching my video, and I hope you will also join me in part 2 of this web apps video. Thank you so much.